Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to check out things Americans do that confuse the rest of the world.
States of America is the land of the free, the
Land
home
of
of
the
the
free,
brave, and also
America.
the home to a lot of weird stuff that most other countries don't
America.
do. This former British colony has truly grown up to be its own quirky
What the
person.
hell?
The following 10 things tend to confuse non-Americans, and you can find non-natives of the US of A discussing them all across the internet. Number 10.
Number 10.
Tipping. America definitely
Tipping,
isn't
yeah.
the only country in the world where
We don't have, I mean, we do have tipping, but it's not like as bad as America, where it's like each place you have to go, it's like they push you to tip, right? It's like, hey, tip, tip. You want to leave a tip? You want to leave a tip? You want to leave a tip? But over here, it's I think some places do it, but it's not like shoved in your face, basically.
tipping is a common practice. In fact, if you're curious about what jobs get tipped in what countries, there's a website called
There's a
whototip.net
website?
that breaks down the tipping customs of the world. But America is certainly the country where tipping is the most prevalent. In
Yeah.
most countries and cultures around the world, tipping is simply an optional charge should you feel your server deserves to be rewarded for their efforts. However, in America, you should always give a tip of around 10 to 20%, especially at
Damn.
restaurants. Tipping is a big part of American culture, which seems odd to outsiders. People may dislike
Yeah,
tipping,
it is. To me, it is very odd.
but it's probably here to stay. In America, the
That's
unspoken
such a weird
system is
thing.
that food prices in restaurants are lower than they should be because tips allow the restaurant to pay their waitstaff less. They can then charge you less for
Yeah.
food. At least that's what you can try telling your friend the next time he doesn't want to contribute to the tip at a restaurant because he recently saw Reservoir Dogs. While a lot of people argue that tipping is a good thing because it increases the quality of service you receive, this isn't actually true. Cornell University published a study
Oh.
that revealed the real reason
a
people
study
tip,
on it?
more or less, is basically random. And customers who receive great service tip on average just 1% more than those who don't. Lots of people around the world look at America and
Interesting.
ask, why not pay service workers a normal amount of money
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
make the food more expensive? Number 9. Have few vacation days. Americans don't go on vacation as much as the rest of the world does.
Oh, really?
On
I
average,
didn't
we're
know
given
that.
only 12 vacation days by our work, as opposed to Europeans who get between
12?
25 and 30. Perhaps more interesting is the fact that Americans on average only use 10 of their 12 given
That's crazy. You only get 12? What? That's insane.
vacation days, whereas Europeans tend to use all of theirs. I guess Americans just can't bring themselves to leave the office while there's still work to be done. And while it may
That is
suggest Europeans
crazy.
are lazy, according to a mounting body of research, it's actually counterproductive not to take a vacation, as breaks help us rejuvenate, increasing our productivity over time. Not only that, when us Americans do go on vacation, we also travel less internationally than citizens of most other countries. But that may be related to our limited number of vacation days. 12 days just doesn't allow for an international trip
Yeah,
as
true.
well as 30
It's not as flexible. They can't really go anywhere within those 12 days and have like a good time, you know? That's crazy. I didn't know it was 12 days for like
does,
vacations.
as the time and cost of travel to international destinations is so great. According to the Department of Commerce, American international travelers spent 42% of the cost of their entire trip simply on the travel to and from their destination. It's then not too surprising that most Americans don't even have a passport. Only 42% of US citizens own a passport, whereas 76% of English citizens
this
do.
video might
That
be
means
out
at
of
least
date,
58%
so it
of
could
Americans
be
haven't
more
even
now.
left the
I don't
US, as you need a passport to travel. To the rest of the world, this is an odd characteristic of such a prosperous nation.
But that is
While it's partly
crazy,
due to
though.
limited vacation days, it may also be because Americans lack the desire to travel as much as the rest of the world. Number 8. Food preferences. When you go to a
Ooh.
restaurant in America, you're probably going to get a lot of food.
Yeah,
At least
the portion sizes in America are huge.
a lot more than most
So
other nations
big.
would serve. It's a popular topic of discussion amongst non-Americans online. Many European tourists admit they
Like,
would
I haven't
frequently
been to America, but I've seen a lot of American videos and like fast food stuff, and their like drinks are so huge, and their burgers and everything is just so much bigger in America. crazy.
Just order one item off the menu and share it with another person. America does it big.
What
and
the
for
fuck?
non-Americans, the size options at fast food restaurants perfectly illustrate this. Take a look at this image by a
Yeah, this
Japanese
is crazy.
citizen in
Like, I don't know how people
2011,
can even
comparing the
finish
sizes
that.
of McDonald's drinks in America versus Japan. The medium Japanese cup is the exact same size as the small American cup, and the American medium
Yeah,
cup
that's
is larger than the
crazy.
Japanese large. But McDonald's is on the small size. Here are the small sizes at a number of vendors, showing just how much larger a small cup is in America. While many around the world like to joke about how it proves Americans are fat, the truth is a lot of them take away their leftovers in carryout boxes to eat throughout the week. Still, American food is vastly different to
Yeah, true. I guess you can have leftovers, but I don't know. Leftovers are just kind of eh. I mean, some leftovers are good. But like, if you're ordering a burger and reheating it the next day, that it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good. I'd rather get a smaller meal and have it for that one day instead of having a big meal and saving it for the next day.
food
Especially
found
with
in
like
the
a
rest of the
burger and
world.
stuff.
For
Oh,
one,
no.
non-Americans are, on the whole, less obsessive about peanut butter. Brian Sternthal, a professor of marketing at Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, has said that in many parts of the world, peanut butter is regarded as unpalatable American curiosity. For example, according to Statista, Americans eat a kilogram of it per year, compared to 100 grams
Oh
eaten
my
per
God,
person
really?
per year in Europe. That's 10 times
That's
the amount
crazy.
Europeans eat. Other American food anomalies that have confused Europeans include comparatively small fruit and vegetable aisles full of fruits and vegetables that will cost you a lot more than they would across the Atlantic, as well as an overabundance of highly processed sweet and salty foods,
fruit-
and
Fruit
so-called
and veggies
cheese that
are
can be
very
sprayed out
expensive anyways over here.
can. Number 7. College sports. In America,
College
college sports are
sports.
almost as popular as professional sports. In some areas, they're actually more popular. People will have barbecues outside of stadiums for hours
Barbecues?
before the
Oh.
games start, paint their faces, and hate on rival academic
God.
institutions. College athletics are taken just as seriously by the fans, who don't care that the players aren't as good as the pros and aren't even getting paid. This may be baffling to our neighbors, but there is an explanation for this
They just
American
like watching
pastime
the
of watching what
sport?
are literally amateur games. Unlike most fun-sized European countries, America is massive. There are lots of
Yep.
places that just aren't anywhere near a major city where you could go and see a professional team play. Colleges are the next best thing, and there's bound to be one of them nearby at least. College football and basketball also actually
I
predate those sports
see.
professional leagues, so college athletics culture has been around forever. Number 6.
So instead of going to like a big game, you'll just go to a college game because it's more accessible.
Prescription drug commercials. Non-Americans
Oh,
who
God.
travel to the U.S. are often surprised to find that there are advertisements for prescription drugs on regular television. You can't go and buy them from stores, so the commercials urge viewers to ask their doctor about them. In 2016, Kantar Media, a firm that tracks multimedia advertising, reported that nearly 800,000 prescription drug advertisements were aired on television, which was a
Jesus.
65% increase from just 4 years
Is
prior.
this still a thing?
Basically, the reason these commercials don't exist in other countries is because they aren't legal in other countries. In fact, the only other country where these kinds of commercials exist is New Zealand.
Huh?
The U.S. pharmaceutical industry is huge. It generated $425
We have-
billion
We have commercials for that? I didn't know. The hell?
in 2015.
Interesting.
If they're allowed to advertise, of
I did
course
not
they're
know
going
that.
to. And it works. Direct-to-consumer advertised drugs tend to sell better than drugs that aren't. But they're controversial, and it seems the reason America allows them comes down to our free speech protections under the First Amendment.
Ah,
Governments of most
see.
countries around the world think they're dangerous, and the research suggests they're not wrong. Even the American Medical Association has called for a ban on them, as these advertisements have been proven by studies to broaden the scope of who gets treated with prescription drugs. They also lead to patients being influenced to take newer
Yeah,
or less effective
true.
drugs that often cost more. For example, Vioxx, which was later withdrawn as it caused life-threatening side effects such as increasing the risk
Heart
of heart
attacks.
attack and
Jesus
stroke.
Christ.
Number 5. Soccer.
Soccer.
America,
You mean football?
of course, isn't the only country that plays soccer, but we are one of the only countries that calls the game you play with your feet soccer and the one you play with your hands football. We stand with countries like Australia, Korea, South Africa, and Italy in not calling the sport football. Understandably, it can
Yeah, over here when I was a kid, we called it soccer, not football. So I'm used to calling it soccer, but I understand why people call it football. It just makes more sense to call it football instead of American football. Like American football doesn't make any sense because you're using your hands. It's like rugby, but with football, you're actually using your feet, so that makes sense. But American football, you're using your hands, so it doesn't make sense. Why is it called football? But
confuses
yeah,
most of the world. So, what is the origin of this counterintuitive name? Soccer is an
I
abbreviation
call
of
it both
association,
football
which
or
came from
soccer. But
association
I did grow up with soccer, calling it soccer.
football, the official name for the game. The suffix "er" was added as a common jocular slang term of the time. The reason the name is stuck is because American football developed in the mid-19th century, evolving from the British game of rugby. Back then, rugby
Rugby.
was loosely known as football, but it was often called
Rugby over
rugby.
here is taken very seriously in New Zealand. Everybody loves rugby
All
here.
these sports were about moving the ball forward, but as the game developed across the pond, Americans developed different rules about how you were allowed to do it and what you could wear. The most popular rule set in England ended up being the one where you can only use your feet. And the most popular rule set in America ended up being the one where you get to smash into each other. Hence why the two totally different sports have the same names in the two countries. Number 4. Not including sales tax.
Oh,
Wherever there's a
tax.
discussion of American sales tax on the internet,
I've seen
you can
this
find
as well.
non-Americans telling their tales of being shocked at the final price because they didn't realize that sales tax wasn't included. In most countries, the price tag on an item includes the part you
Yeah.
have to pay to the government, so they can build roads and other things. But not here in the US.
That's crazy. You have to fucking see like how much tax that's gonna cost you.
This is because sales
It's
tax
so
in America
simple over here. You just buy something, whatever the price it says it is, get taxed, It's included, whatever.
can vary by
In
county.
America, you have
So
to
something could cost a slightly different amount just a mile
have to
away. There are also very
sort it out
specific laws
yourself.
about what gets sales taxed. For instance, if you order coffee to go, there will not be sales tax in California. But if you sit down in the cafe and eat a donut, you will have to pay sales tax. Essentially, with all these rules, it becomes difficult to put things on
Taxes.
a price tag. Number 3. Not using the metric system.
Oh,
The United States of America has no need for universally accepted and logical measurement systems
they
because
love
Thomas
using their own
Jefferson
stuff,
said
don't
so.
they?
In 1790, when the metric system was being developed, he simply decided not to bring it to America. So it didn't happen. America, Liberia, and Myanmar are the only countries in the world that use the imperial system.
Damn.
Liberia uses the same units that America does, and Myanmar is a bit of a mess.
Oh,
They
God.
use a combination of their own totally unique Burmese
Oh,
measuring units,
what?
American imperial units, and metric units. So they may have
The
the
fuck?
distinction of being the only country with a bigger headache when it comes to this than America. But surely now that Thomas Jefferson is long dead, we could just switch over, right? Well, it isn't that simple. It would cost a lot of money to switch over the country's
Yeah.
whole infrastructure to the metric system now that the US already uses their own unique imperial system. The closest the US has gotten is that today, in US schools, kids learn about both the imperial and metric systems. So most of us do have a basic understanding of how
Okay.
the metric system works, even if we never really use it.
That's good.
Even if you buy a measuring tape in the US, it will have both imperial and metric units on it. Throughout American history, there have been various attempts to reform the system and switch over, but none have succeeded. It would seem as though Thomas Jefferson's wish for an extra special system shall live on for the foreseeable future. It hasn't come without
That's
its
America for
consequences,
you.
though,
They
as
always
this
wanna do
confusion
their
has
own
led to
thing.
enormous mistakes, like the Mars orbiter that was lost by NASA because of a metric system mix-up.
Oh.
Number 2.
Oh my
Month
God.
before the day.
Oh, I hate this. This is so stupid. Why not have the day, the month, the year? Why does America do month, day, year? It doesn't make any sense. It's more important for the day to be first instead of the month. Like, what? The month changes less than the day. So it's like, I hate it. I don't know why they do month, day, year. This is one thing I fucking hate. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It's so stupid.
The United States is the only country that, when writing out the date, puts the month
Yeah,
before
that's
the
so
day.
dumb.
And it seems to extremely
The
aggravate
day is more important than the month. Keep that first. Keep the day first.
the rest of the world.
Ah.
Most other countries write the day,
God
then the
damn.
month, then the year. The majority
Sorry, I
of
got
countries
heated.
and most of Europe and South America
I got
do it
heated.
this way.
I'm
it
crashing
seems
out,
logical
dude.
as the units of time
Crashing
are in
out.
order from smallest to largest. Also seemingly logical is how the date is written in China and Japan, which is year, month, day, or largest to smallest.
Even that's weird.
So,
The year, month, day. That's even weird too. But
why do
still.
we format time like this? Well, unfortunately, there's no widely accepted answer as to why this is the case. The month-day-year order was used in Britain in the 1800s, but why we chose to keep it when Britain ceased to do so is
Because
something
America doesn't want to change. They just want to keep it as their own thing, you know?
a historical mystery. The best guess is likely that the order reflects how Americans say dates verbally. An American would be more likely to say that it's January 1st more than they would be likely to say the 1st of January. Our notation then could simply be a way of writing out what would be the most conversational.
I mean,
Number
still,
1.
I don't know.
Having a drinking age of 21. A 20-year-old European may be in for a shock when they fly to the U.S. and
Yep,
discover
you
that
can't
they can no
drink.
longer legally drink alcohol.
In
While
America,
you
it's
may already
21.
know about this peculiar American practice,
Over
what
here
you
it's
may not
18.
know is why it is the case. In 1984, the U.S. passed a law called the Drinking Age Act. It stated that if a state did not create a minimum drinking age of 21, they would lose up to 10% of their federal highway funding. The states all took the hint and made the drinking age 21. But why 21? Well, America has a long and storied past with alcohol,
Oh, God.
including prohibition. Lawmakers didn't just pick the number out of a hat. It dates back centuries to Old English common law, which states a person becomes a full adult aged 21, at which age a person could, among other things, vote and become a knight. Still, as
Become
shown
a
by
knight?
this map, the U.S. is one of
What?
just a few developed countries to have a minimum legal drinking age over 18. In fact, in some countries like Belgium and Germany, 16-year-olds are allowed to
16? I mean, actually, over here, I think it's 16 with consent, I believe.
purchase alcohol. Alcoholic or
But you
not,
can't purchase it.
and if you order a drink in America, you're probably going to get it with a lot of ice.
At
In most
18,
other
you can
countries, you
purchase
just won't see the
alcohol.
sheer quantity of ice that you'll get in your American beverage. Granted, you'll often get ice in your drinks in many European countries, but ice-cold beverages are the default option in America. Whereas lots of people from other countries don't have the same preference, and drinks aren't always served with ice. This cultural difference is frequently debated online. It could be because in some countries you shouldn't drink the tap water, which is where that ice came from, and in others it just isn't common to automatically have ice with a meal at a restaurant. So, people of the internet
Well then, that was some crazy American stuff. That's different throughout the whole world. I really hate the way they do the month, day, year thing. That triggers me so bad. I hate that. But yeah. Do you guys live in America? What do you think about these different things you guys do compared to the rest of the world? And let me know what things you like the best from America or your own country. Let me know in the comments, but make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.